Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies. Hey gang, this is Mike with MrNoFluff.com, and I'm taking a walk in nature. And for you guys that know me, I let go of all my 3 businesses that I had successful for 14, 15 years, debt free. Started with $100 living out of my car after college. I let all that stuff go because I wasn't happy, which brings me to Bitcoin, right? Because it's freedom. It's kind of like coming out here, walking, hearing all the birds trip. There is not concrete, straight path that tells you what to do, right? And cryptocurrencies, at first, I was not a believer of it myself because I thought that were just a scam or bogus. How can some digital asset, zero something, have value? It's not like gold or silver, which I'm highly fan of. However, just like real estate investing in 2006 fourth quarter when the market was about to crash, I knew it was about to crash, and I started learning about it. And I thought, you know what, this doesn't work. This is a scam. How can I buy a house with no money? Or how can I buy a house without getting a bank loan? How can I? Everyone else doesn't do it this way. My mom and my cousin, my hairdresser, etc. They all said no, my friends. So I thought it was a fake scam too, until I took some action. Until I stuck my feet into the water a little bit and said, hey, water's not that bad, right? I can't be scared of water forever. I might have to go ahead and try it out, dive in. And so I tried it a little bit with real estate in 2006, and I was able to buy houses with no money, no credit, in terms of rental properties. I did put some money into the properties to make them, more rentable, but it was my option. I wanted to do that. For example, I want to get all the floors vinyl. I want to get all the paint in all the houses the same color. Because as a professional landlord, I just want to focus on having one type of paint for the whole house versus like 10 different colors for 10 different houses, etc. Anyways, when I got into the real estate, I didn't think it was possible, and I thought it was fake. Same thing with cryptocurrencies. When I got into it, I thought, man, this thing is a scam. This ain't gonna work. However, when I saw it going up and up and up, 15, 14, 19,000, I thought, man, this thing is definitely a bubble. And yes, I missed the boat for the very, very early adopters. However, once the bad boy crashes, I'm going to jump into it. And surely enough, the bad boy crashed. And once it starts crashing 50% and more, I start diving into it and accumulating till now, which is right now, we had a $200 pump. So it was like $4,000 now. Last time I looked, that was 4,160 and some change or something, or 50 and some change. But why did I start believing Bitcoin was powerful or cryptocurrencies? Well, because when I tried it, when I invested my money into it, I created a wallet and I transferred money instantly. I was like, wow, right? Because I didn't have to go to a bank. I didn't have to fill out all this paperwork. And not that I have a problem going to the bank and filling out all the paperwork, but, I just don't like bankers. I don't like middleman. And sure, if I give them, if they were giving me a lot of benefits, like giving me more interest, wouldn't have all these monthly fees and all this scam ways for them to charge you nickel and dime me, then I'll be okay with it. But the nickel and dime, not only me, the whole public, all kinds of fees, insufficient funds, all kinds of stuff. People to charge people that they can't afford it. And what do they do in return? They take your money, do fractional reserve lending, lend it out to a lot of people, invest the profits into derivatives. They're extremely risky. So they don't do anything, just a parasite. Okay? The parasite that the more it sucks on your blood, it releases toxins to shut your body down. I mean, just as simple as that. And you can see the side effects in all the crashes that's been happening since the Federal Reserve amended the Constitution by buying out the Congress and legislator and etc. Okay? Because before We used to be gold, and then the monetary system, the money was backed by gold, and now it's just a simple piece of paper. So once I used cryptocurrencies, I really realized that hey, there's no middleman, there's no bankers, no one's printing it out, and I didn't really understand that part of Bitcoin because when I started buying a lot, when the crash happened at 50% off, I did buy more diverse, riskier stuff versus Bitcoin because my philosophy was that hey, I'm gonna buy these companies that if they go up, I'm gonna make massive money. If they go down, I won't make any money. But I didn't really understand decentralization. I understood it definition wise, but I really didn't fully understand it monetary wise and value wise, because now I would only invest in things heavily. I can't say only, but for the most part, that are fully decentralized, like Bitcoin, and no one owns them because once you have, like, for example, Litecoin, Charlie Lee, or once you have a figure, or Ripple, you have the company. Once you have a figure or a corporation that has vested interest in making so much money, and then it becomes all screwed up, right? Like right now, what's happening with Bitcoin and the fork of Bitcoin Cash because of block sizes and and it's hard to decide which side is right or wrong, because I could definitely understand that having second two layers defeats the purpose of peer-to-peer, because now the second tier layers can be banks because you have to create a note on the Lightning Network, and the amount of money that you have to put up for your note is the amount of money you can transact. So of course, like, the bankers are going to have more money to put down, so they're going to be able to do more of the transaction, and I don't think that's a really fair system, right? Where Bitcoin originally was peer-to-peer, and it was just individuals doing it, and I like that. So, but I don't want to get into that argument of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. But on the other hand, I learned my lesson about when Bitcoin Cash split, to BCH and Satoshi's Vision Bitcoin, right? SV. And I realized that, hey man, even if I like someone's ideas, and because it's not totally decentralized, because some people own it or control it, they can get into internal fights and break up, and I'm gonna lose money. So that said, I really learned a lot about cryptocurrencies when I invested a lot of money into it. And as I said, right now, I'm in negative, right? But same thing in real estate. When I got into real estate 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, when I bought properties, I was in a negative. I wasn't positive because I bought properties that had marginal equity. Some had equity, and a lot of them didn't have no equity, but they cash flowed like crazy or very good, or they were in very nice parts of town that were going to appreciate. But every single one cash flowed, right? And they didn't need any repairs. And so when I bought them, some of them might not have any equity in the term of what equity was. But those properties that didn't have any equity, by the time it came to 2016, right, they had so much equity now. Plus they were throwing off cash flow every month on rentals more and more because rental properties rents were getting higher and higher. So when I reflect back to the rental business in 2006, 2007, sometimes I bought properties and they didn't have equity or were under. And for the first 4 or 5 years, it wasn't a positive situation. And so that's the same situation with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in my mind, in my opinion. For me, because I bought it at 50% down, and they've been going down, right? But I'm still accumulating, still buying more, because in my gut, I feel like and understand cryptocurrencies a lot more, and I know that it's not a scam. Sure, there are ICOs and companies that I invested in that have gone bankrupt, and that was a learning lesson that, hey, the difference between truly decentralized platforms versus semi, or some company owns it, or some guy like Charlie Lee with Bitcoin created it and dumps his shares, and which is pretty crazy at the top of the market, even though this is his company, and and he had people following it. So good learning lessons. Okay. Now, my gut feeling is that cryptocurrencies are going to blow up, right? They're going to blow up, and they're going to be revolutionary, just like a pager. Because a lot of you guys don't know that cell phone companies, the cell phone you have right now was a birth from a pager. Pagers were a device where people would just call you and leave your phone number for you to call them back. So you would go to a payphone and call them back. For a lot of you guys, you don't even know what that is, because when you were born, you're too young, cell phones were already in play. So with pagers, then became big mobile phones that were like heavy as my backpack, and you had to carry it with you. Then became Motorola with the laser, which is very thin, and then now where we are with iPhones and etc. And the same thing is happening with cryptocurrencies. Okay, plus cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are protocol, kind of like, you know, your email system, your STMP, or your pop-up 3 for you guys that are a little more IT savvy, or like your World Wide Web, you know, which is run on Apache and Linux, and, you know, it's a protocol, something that's like a highway where everything else runs on top of it to go from point A to point B to do transactions or to do the functionality. It's a simple way of looking at it. And so we're in my opinion, that's why I invested in it. We're in the very beginning phase of the highways, the foundation. It's kind of like in the cell phone business. If you could imagine, you could buy the cell phone tower, right? And they just came up with pagers, and they said it's very hot and we need towers. And anyone could go buy part of that tower to build the infrastructure. For example, I'm giving you an example in the pager and cell phone business. Well, imagine if you could buy the towers. And that's what it means to be a protocol, because I'm buying into the protocol of Bitcoin. I'm buying the protocol of EOS. I'm buying into the protocol of, you know, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Neo, so many different other platforms, okay? Ethereum. And why is that important for me? Because that's where everything else is going to be on top of. And even though that Bitcoin has hit $19,000 and this came down, it's at the very infancy stage, in my opinion, not financial advice, that this is just the very beginning. There's only so much amount of Bitcoin, and all these guys are getting into it. You know, Fidelity, Facebook is creating their own Bitcoin. You know, one of the biggest cell phone companies, LG, is creating their own Bitcoin wallet for their cell phones. You know, golly, JP Morgan, the New York Exchange, stock exchange, getting in cryptocurrencies. They're through ICE. It's their company name. So what does that mean? There's so many people getting into cryptocurrencies, from Goldman Sachs, by creating custodian situations for the very rich. So it's right around the corner for it to blow up. These bigger guys are now getting into it. When at first cryptocurrencies came in, it was for the average man. Now the big guys, the big corporations, the monopolies are getting into it, like Facebook Coin, they're creating, or Visa, they're trying to create their own, hiring their own people to create their own blockchains. JP Morgan created their own blockchain, currency, etc. So this is just the beginning phase, and there's going to be a lot of money being made, and I'm excited to be into it. And like I said, at first I thought it was a scam. Once I did my own due diligence, I put some money into it, I realized that, man, this is the future. So I just want to share this with you guys to let you know about my opinions. If you guys want to get into cryptocurrencies, one of the places that I bought from is called Coinbase. I'll put a link below. If you use the link, you get $10 and I get $10. So not a bad idea. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Go ahead and click the like button. Let me know your thoughts about cryptocurrencies, and hustle and bustle. Peace.